Now, continuing with our focus, as we have been all week, speaking to youth, various youth organizations, young people representing those organizations, and just in their own personal capacity, we've been focusing on what this 29 May poll means for young South Africans, and of course, what some of the challenges are that they face, and whether they hope that this election and its outcome would in some way resolve some of the issues that they have to grapple with. Now, despite the country's higher education institutions churning out thousands of qualified graduates every year, many still struggle to find jobs after graduation. And this situation is not only frustrating for the young people involved, but it also has serious concerns and repercussions for the country's economy, with a huge impact on the growth trajectory of the country. Now, in 2023, Statistics South Africa reported that approximately 3.4 million young people within the ages of 15 and 24 are neither in education or training or employed. And about 50.4% of the 7.8 million unemployed persons do not have a matric, and only 39.5% have completed matric. Almost 7% of the unemployed had other tertiary qualifications, while 2.7% were graduates. And this morning, we talked to two unemployed graduates. We're joined by 32-year-old Kyle Arries. He studied BCom General at the University of the Western Cape, and he completed his BCom in 2017. He was unemployed for 2 years, then worked for a construction company for a year, and then became part of the YES program. The organization places young unemployed youth, of course. We're also joined by 28-year-old LLB graduate Thandiswa Muleleki, and she graduated from the University of the Northwest and is based in the Northwest Province. She got into an internship, served articles for 2 years until July of 2023, and she's then been trying since then to find employment. And she says that she spends a lot of time watching court cases online, and also finds interest in family law. So Kyle Arries and Thandiswa Muleleki, they join me now. So let's have a conversation about what's going on with our unemployed graduates. Thanks so much to both of you for speaking to us this morning. So let me just start by pulsing both of you, Kyle and Thandiswa, about waking up this morning as an unemployed graduate in South Africa. Talk to us about your daily life and daily struggle. Let me start with you, Thandiswa.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Waking up as an unemployed graduate is very frustrating. It's disheartening and demoralizing, because we had went to varsity hoping that getting a qualification would get us financial freedom. And to my surprise, it's 6 years later and I don't have a formal employment. And every day you have to keep on applying, hoping that things will get better. So it's really not a pleasant experience.
Kyle?
Hi, so from my side, I share a very similar experience. Well, I recently did find employment. I was unemployed for a very, very long time. That experience that I went through, it's you continuously waking up in the morning. You kind of lose the will to fight after 2-3 years in that regard. And there's still so many of us out there that still struggle to find unemployment. I mean, you would continuously wake up, do job searches, look on LinkedIn, look on all these platforms, looking for an opportunity for yourself. And it does become very disheartening.
And I suppose that is the danger, becoming disheartened and to the point of becoming hopeless and helpless, because that's when people start to lose their way altogether. But as you both indicated, you know, you went on to study, hoping that that would, of course, put you on a better trajectory. But even then, you were obviously both also aware of the unemployment crisis in the country. So what was your thinking in terms of deciding on your field of study, and also what did you hope it would do for you in terms of turning your fortunes to be better than those of the unemployed that you found in that particular queue at that time, Thandiswa?
I think when you begin to study for, my experience as an LLB graduate, I wanted to go into practice to essentially assist people. So when I started this career, I started with passion being my drive, because obviously people advise you to study something that's more marketable, but my passion is the one that really just kept me through the whole course. So now it's getting to a point where you wonder if should you have changed your stream or maybe tried something else, because you'd see people telling you that, hey, graduating is really hard out there, then you have to really compete with other people once you are done, and you don't really think it could happen to you. But I now see it, I now experience it, and I'm hoping that things will look better.
So with the benefit of hindsight, as you say, at first it was driven by your passion. And I would imagine that passion is still there. But would you have approached it differently, Thandiswa, had you known then what you know now?
I don't think so, really, because even now when I'm not working, I'm still trying to attend court proceedings just to keep on, just to try not to get rusty in the field. So I see that it's passion that keeps me in this field, but I do acknowledge that I have frustrations that come along with being in this field, but I don't think I would have changed it for anything else.
And are you still hopeful right now, Thandiswa, that you still will find yourself, doing the job that you are passionate about, that you want to do, that you have studied towards? Are you hopeful at this stage?
At this stage, I'm hopeful, because that's the only way to really go about this job hunting, honestly. If I were to tell myself to give up, then I don't think I'd have really a purpose to get up every day. So the only choice I have now is to really just remain hopeful.
Kyle, coming to you, you said you just recently found a job. So is it in your field of study, the field that you qualified in, or is it just a case of, I'll take any job at this stage because I've got to do something?
Actually, I did find a job within my career path, but in the beginning it wasn't that easy, as like you just mentioned, you would usually just reach out for anything that comes your way, and then try and position yourself in that organization so that you can find that path in what your career actually is. It is not an easy thing to go through, as there's not much guidance in that aspect from your university or college that you've been studying at. But yeah, it started out as something in which you would reach out, just grab anything and then position yourself in that organization. But usually you would study for something and you have a year or two or maybe even 5 before you go into that particular career path.
So you speak of guidance, and again, with the benefit of hindsight, do you think you would have made the same choices that you made, knowing what you know now, knowing what the job market looks like? Would you have made different choices?
There I would say different. I feel like I do agree with Thandiswa, where if you have passion, it's something that drives you continuously to get through those difficult times. However, if we were relayed information ahead of time to inform us exactly what is expected to be jobs that are actually out there that organizations and maybe even government is looking for, and we would then direct ourselves into that direction. But from myself, yes, definitely.
So, there are people who would say that if you look at the fact that you are graduates, so you have a certain level of knowledge, skill that one would imagine you bring to the table. Is it impossible for graduates to actually pull themselves up by their bootstraps? And if so, why is that the case? Why has it been difficult for the two of you in your individual experiences to actually do something for yourself, whether it be, venturing on an entrepreneurial path or something else? Why has it been difficult for you to be able to help yourself, so to speak, and not rely on others, or be it somewhere in the job market or government or anyone else, to try and place you in a job as a graduate? Thandiswa?
I honestly believe that it's difficult because firstly, we don't have funding to venture into entrepreneurship. Most of us, I'll speak from my experience, I inherited my first debt when I didn't have funding for tuition. So already when you graduate, you have a debt under your name. So I think the main issue is funding, and then also to get employment, there's limited job opportunities. So I am looking into entrepreneurship. It's just that to really kick it off, you really need funding.
So, Kyle, from your side, and also, how do you think that government or, the private sector or anyone out there, be it a venture capitalist or whoever else, could perhaps come to the assistance of unemployed graduates?
Yeah, I would say that, look, I did recently find out that there's a lot of organizations, maybe I should correct myself, there are organizations out there that do assist young people to go into entrepreneurship. But from my way of looking and analyzing the amounts that they are giving you, I feel like it's not able to stabilize you at least for a duration of 6 months. And I feel like there's lack of information as to know where to go to, how to approach your idea, and just guidance again. I feel like there are a lot of youth that are lost in the aspect of direction, but there's a lot of enthusiasm, and there's a lot of great ideas out there. But I would definitely say we definitely should have more organizations that come in to assist, especially our youth, whether it's from a high school level or even graduates or even those who are still studying, just to relay the proper information and not to have so much red tape around these channels of applying and not always being suitable.
Thandiswa, do you think there needs to be a mindset shift for South Africans and South African youth in particular? And I'm glad Kyle touches on what needs to happen perhaps a lot earlier on, maybe at school level already, whereby we need to stop thinking about seeking a job, landing a job after graduation, and start thinking about, finding our own paths and ways towards employing ourselves and others.
I think the youth should start shifting their mindset, because the job market is really saturated with graduates. So if people invest more into going into maybe just getting skills development in entrepreneurship, then they will be able to create jobs or to be able to grow outside of depending on employers to absorb them. That's what I mean. So I think, yes, if people would start looking into starting their own businesses, getting information on how to get funding on those businesses, it will definitely work out. And for also the government to sort of assist in funding the private enterprises to train people or to mentor people into going into entrepreneurship, then a lot can improve.
Your side to that, Kyle?
I would definitely say that I think early in section, when it comes to that, we should definitely introduce. I feel like even on school level, maybe a sort of subject or anything, in my opinion, that would make the youth aware that entrepreneurship is an actual option when leaving school. There isn't anything. I know you do get business studies and economic studies, but that doesn't really gear you for more of an entrepreneurial path in that particular person's life. So I feel like government should step in, organizations should step in as well, just to maybe gear our youth's mindset into actually taking that as a career path. As you know, it leads to a better economy in that way as well.
So you have, for example, young people who are watching, who are listening right now. Some of them, maybe in the latter years of school, thinking about what they're going to do. Also, bright and beady-eyed as you may have been at a certain stage in your life. What do you think would be the key piece of advice that you would want a young person who is on the cusp of having to make these career decisions? What's the most valuable piece of advice that you can give, Thandiswa?
I think the youth should go for career counseling before they enroll into varsity or before they explore any entrepreneurship. They must identify also their skills at an earlier stage so that they know which stream to actually navigate to. So, yes, I think that's about it.
Kyle, what would you say to another young Kyle or Thandiswa watching right now, thinking they are passionate about a certain career path? How do they avoid the sort of pitfalls that you've had to deal with?
I would definitely say understand yourself and understand the job market, which is very important. Understand what jobs are needed at the moment and how can you align your character as well as the career that you would like to follow with what is available. Because there's no point in studying something or even gearing yourself and getting the necessary skills, but there's no access to that and there's no availability of the type of jobs in your economy.
And that's a crucial point to touch on because, again, yes, we may be passionate about certain career paths, but did anyone at any point say to the two of you that, these particular avenues, these fields are actually saturated, and therefore you would be doing yourself a disservice by studying towards a qualification here because you're going to struggle to find a job? Did any of you encounter that sort of advice or even, guidance whilst you were trying to make career choices, Thandiswa?
Yes, I actually did before I enrolled into varsity, but I chose not to take that advice because at that time I was young and I felt like in order to know something, I need to go through the experience myself so that tomorrow I do not come back to say, had I not listened to you, I would have been at some point in my life.
So what would you say to the young person watching right now? Should they heed that advice?
I think they should. I think they should.
Kyle?
I would say from my end, I wasn't really informed enough to state that the career path in which you're going down, there are very limited opportunities. But there's also something that I would like to point out. Within a career, when you're busy gearing yourself and studying and equipping yourself for a particular type of career, you see somebody make it, and you get the same feeling as in that would be me. And it's a chance out of maybe 1 out of 10 that happening to you. But I would definitely say that, coming back to your question, um, definitely more information being relayed to the youth, even during the inception of them studying, just to inform them. Um, do not waste your time on something that might be a very nice skill to have, or something that you are interested in, but I would like to say again, there's no opportunity within that field. So I would have really appreciated that information and guidance, maybe, to just be that honest with me and for me to make the correct decision.
Well, Thandiswa and Kyle, thank you so much to both of you for, opening up, sharing with us your stories, being vulnerable with us. Really appreciate it. And congratulations, Kyle, on finding employment. And Thandiswa, we wish you well, and hopefully this is just across the horizon for you as well. And this, of course, is where we're going to leave it for this morning. Some of the country's graduates struggling with full employment despite their qualifications. And we focus on various youth issues here on Morning Live, including unemployment here on Morning Live. And how eye-opening was that? And, talking about what needs to happen. We need more information. We need access to that information for young people before they embark on these career paths, because you need to know, what are the prospects for employment in your chosen career path. What is it looking like even before you head into it? And as Thandiswa was saying, she was told she didn't quite heed that call, but perhaps it's something worth looking at. And of course, the curriculum needs to be adjusted as well to take into cognizance some of the problems that exist.